Careful. Watch the foot banging. You can keep your feet on the. You should keep your feet on the floor.
It'll make me laugh. I like to wiggle my feet.
Hello and welcome to Game Jelly Season 2.5, Echoes of the Forgotten Island. I thought we were going to say that together.
Oh, sorry.
Hello and welcome to Game Jelly Season 2.5, Echoes of the Forgotten Island. This season has a subtitle. Game Jelly is a show where we come together and design a game in real time. We verbally prototype it. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music, you'll be happy to learn we have full YouTube video versions of this with the link in description. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be happy to know that we have 2 full seasons of Game Jelly over on Spotify and Apple Music and other podcast players. But this is our interim season. This is our goofier, looser season. And
it's really my time to shine.
It's really, yeah. Longtime fans of the show will know Keating's the goofy one. I'm the serious one. And I'm Tieren Costello. I'm a designer and composer. And usually we say where we're coming to you from, but right now you can see where we're coming to you from. We can lie to the listeners.
We could lie to the audience.
We could lie to the audience.
That's always an option.
And I'm coming to you from Malibu, baby.
And I'm Keating Shahmehri. I'm an artist and a designer, and I'm coming to you from right behind the camera.
That's crazy.
And today we're going to be designing a game based on Steamboat Willie.
No particular reason.
Yeah.
So this is really topical while we're recording this.
This is like really hot stuff while we're recording this. The great thing about Steamboat Willie is it stayed relevant for this long.
That's true.
So it will be sort of evergreen.
That's true.
You know, when we're recording this.
Every time I pass a like an iPad baby, they're always playing Steamboat Willie.
Steamboat Willie. Yeah.
Yeah. So I watched Steamboat Willie for the first time in preparation for this. And it's very bizarre, and I probably should have done more research on what's going on with it. It felt like a proof of concept to me.
Yeah. It's really like a tech demo, and I think that might give us some really interesting directions for this game.
You watched it?
I watched like half of it, and then I got bored.
Literal iPad baby. My immediate thought with it was like, a game of Steamboat Willie could have the charm of something like Paper Mario, how you're just like going places and encountering new things that follow their own rules.
Right.
Because the way that Steamboat Willie operates is purely like every single item follows the same rule of whatever's the goofiest thing that could happen right now, that's what I'm going to do. And it doesn't matter if the item is alive or inanimate or whatever. And I think that would be like a fun thing about this is like a Paper Mario or Undertale style,
right.
Like, anywhere you go, you know that the rules are going to change, and you know that anything you interact with will have some kind of unique properties.
I think there's almost like an old school like point and click adventure game style of thing going on here, where do you remember those like CD-ROM games where you click on different stuff? These are like children's games, but like you click on different stuff and just random animations play. That's just like some goofy
thing with
it. I feel like you could do a lot of that where like you're walking around and then you walk over to something and it just like does something weird, and then maybe those things interact in some like physics-y way or something like that, and you are interacting with the world in that. But also maybe it's just like you walk over to a tree and like press an interact button and you know pull it to the side and then like sit in it or whatever. Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea of like there being very definitive mechanics and things that you need to do. So like, oh, you can rest and I don't know if we're thinking like RPG or what, but you know, you can rest and that has some benefit for you, but then you always have to find a unique way to rest in the same way that Mickey is playing a constant game of like improv, but the world just bends to his desires.
Right.
So like, yeah, like pulling the tree is a perfect example of this.
In terms of genre, the other game that I started thinking about a lot is the game Far Lone Sails. Do you know that game?
I know. I think I own it. I have not played it.
It's a really neat game where you're on this like big mechanical ship, and it's like a puzzle game where you're figuring out how you can use your ship to get across the land, but then also there will be obstacles where you have to, your ship can't pass it on its own, so then you have to figure out some way of removing the obstacle, or you need to find like fuel for your ship. And it's very fun because you need to go from like the engine room to the sails room and then sort of interact with it in this like very mechanical feeling way. And it kind of reminded me of, or the boat in Steamboat Willie kind of reminded me of that, where it's this big steamboat that is like doing all this weird stuff, and you are walking around to different parts of it to make the entire thing work.
I love that. No, I was thinking like I love like sailing in games, but it's very hard to get it right. And I was thinking that like if we had really, really good sailing mechanics first, like that's the primary thing in this short, and so that would be the primary thing in this game. But then using that, if that's like the core like systems building thing, if that's the core thing where it's like you always need more fuel, you might need new parts to spruce up the boat. I was also thinking about like, like traveling between locations, backtracking should always be possible, but when you're pushing forward, there's always new stuff with new mechanics, like I was talking about.
Right.
With all of those things, anything new that you're discovering should help with the sailing. Like everything feeds into the sailing, was my thought. And then like the fun of the game is in discovering all these weird like properties of the different things in this world, but the thing that kind of keeps the player going is improving the ship and like just maintaining the ship.
Right. I also think it could be, first of all, a sort of an ongoing theme is that in the short is that your pants can't hold your body unless you actively put your body inside your pants. So I think that should be a theme in the game.
Just looked over at Keating's notes and it just says "keep body in pants." Keep your body in your pants.
Yeah, I wrote that right before we started recording.
It's in a different pen.
So I think as you're walking around, you should have to sort of balance and keep your body inside your pants. And if someone punches you, your body should fly out of your pants.
Out of your pants.
And then you have to collect it back. This is the health system in the game. If someone attacks you, your body flies out of your pants.
Okay.
If they attack you again, your body flies completely out of your pants, and then you don't have a job anymore. But if you put your body back in your pants before they can punch you again, then you're fine.
Okay. I do like to hit HP systems in games, so I like that.
So you like it?
So I love it. Yeah. So if someone hits you, you fly out of your pants. Your body like kind of bends out of your pants. Mm-hmm. You can collect yourself like he does at the beginning. I can tell you watched half of this short. I do like this idea. I think we should hone in a little bit on like what is the game itself. We could make this game. Mm-hmm. You may not have heard this because this is very recent news, but Steamboat Willie is in the public domain. Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to think about like honing in on like what exactly does this gameplay look like. You're describing enemies and like an HP system and all that stuff. I was thinking about how like half of it is just him grabbing stuff and using it as instruments. I was thinking that an improvised item rhythm game is kind of a crazy idea.
That's a really cool idea. I had written down that you can walk up to anything and play it like an instrument.
Okay, that's really good too.
Which is like kind of in the, a bunch of object interactions thing of, you can walk up to the tree and like press this button and you start blowing into the bottom of the tree and it's a big bassoon or something like that. Mm-hmm. But
that's actually great. That's a great way to just implement like every item has unique properties, because everything is a unique instrument. So we could design a very basic like sailing game with some RPG mechanics, like some random enemies and stuff, very basic. But then the real like core cool thing about the game is every single item you can walk up to it and blow into it. It makes a different sound, or walk up to it and interact with it in some way.
And then it is some basic rhythm game where you're getting some. I mean, it could even be like there's system stuff you could do of that gives you fuel for the boat or something like that. And so
that's really good.
Doing this consistently to get these resources to be able to run your boat.
That's really, really good. I was thinking that the budget for development should be $4,986.69.
Nice.
Because that's the original budget of this. This
really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is not much money.
Well.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I know it was more money back then.
Yeah. So that's one of our main challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We may have to underpay some people.
Okay, well, it sucks to do, but we'll do it.
And also, if you read the plot of this thing on Wikipedia, I did watch it, but I didn't understand what was going on. So if you read the plot of this thing, it reads like this like beautiful metaphor thing. When I was watching it, I was like, okay, like goofy, you can make some really goofy game with this. When I was reading the plot, I was like, you could make a really like moving, weird, sad story with this. It reads like a Miyazaki movie. That's what I kept thinking. Like, very I'm gonna pull up the plot. Very like, okay, this thing happened and it seems to have a lot of significance to all the characters.
Right.
Mickey Mouse is piloting a steam river sidewheeler, cheerfully whistling Steamboat Bill and sounding the boat's 3 whistles. Soon the Captain Pete appears and orders Mickey off the bridge. Mickey blows a raspberry at Pete.
It's moving.
Pete attempts to kick him, but Mickey rushes away in time, and Pete accidentally kicks himself in the rear. Okay, this isn't sounding like a Miyazaki movie.
Also, the fact that we're just laughing at, Pete kicking himself in the rear.
Let me skip lower. This isn't a good example of landing on deck. Mickey accidentally drops a ukulele and some sheet music for the song "Turkey in the Straw," which are eaten by a goat. Like that.
That was a goat?
I guess so.
Huh.
Mickey fights with the goat over the eaten ukulele, but Mickey lets go of it. I was thinking, like, I have on in my notes, like, plot beat of losing the ukulele. I was thinking a rhythm game where Minnie, like, plays along with whatever you do, but then she loses her ukulele at some point. And there could be, like, a real, like, this is a goofy, silly game, and then it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of sad when that goat eats her ukulele.
Right.
Okay, no, it was later on. The thing the parrot says is really goofy. The parrot says, "Hope you don't feel hurt, big boy. Ha 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 ha." At the end of the short, the parrot repeats the phrase, and after it falls into the water, it cries, "Help, help, man overboard." Like, that sounds so much like some
Right.
like our brother is really into like Russian animated short films. And all of them have this quality of just like, okay, there's so much going on. It feels so symbolic. I don't understand this, but I know that people have done so much like research and literature and stuff on this. That's how I felt reading just that the parrot falls into the water and yells, "Help, help, man overboard." And that's the only dialogue in the thing.
I think it could be fun to have some sort of mean mugs from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
That are following your character throughout the game and are like trying to make sure that you're not doing anything. That's their copyright.
I was thinking about having you like meet like ducks and dogs and stuff all throughout, because when we were talking to our brother about this, he was like, you could also do a Making Kingdom Hearts but with only public domain characters game of like, yeah, like making like Kingdom Hearts with like, okay, just Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, Sherlock Holmes, Winnie the Pooh, like using all these characters,
the original versions of the Disney princesses, like Snow White, and
the things that they are all based on, and recreate a fully public domain Kingdom Hearts. That I think would be really fun. I do also just like the idea of like there are dogs coming up to you, and I don't know, and it's like, oh, they're like completely realistic dogs because we can't make them goofy
Right.
for fear of them being goofy.
Right. I'm so excited for Goofy to enter the public domain.
When's that happening?
I forget. It's like 2030 or something
Okay.
like that. I forget. I
What
can
are
wait.
what are you gonna do?
Oh.
I mean, we are doing copyrighted stuff this season.
I was thinking it's funny.
It is funny because we're like, oh, we can finally do a Steamboat Willie game. But then this week we're doing My Little Pony, Great British Bake Off, which I don't know. Yeah, we could not make a Great British Bake Off game.
Definitely not what their likeness is.
Columbo versus Breaking Bad, and that's it for copyrighted ideas. But this is the one that can actually be developed. But if you make it, you're committing copyright infringement on us.
It's so true.
Yeah, see us in 100 years.
You dare. This is a minor thing, but I think in terms of like piloting the boat, the ship's wheel should be a shot or like a view where you're like controlling the wheel, and I'm picturing it being very like physics-y.
Definitely.
Where you're like spinning it hard one direction and the boat starts to turn that direction, and then you can like stop it, but it has momentum and whatnot.
I totally agree. I do think like at the core of this is every single physical thing you interact with, it should not be incidental. Every single thing has like it has its own unique physicality, and so like having like really specific rules for like jerking the wheel to the right is very like pull on it, and it's like kind of resisting, and then it spins, like little things like that of making it clear that everything kind of has its own autonomy in this world. Every single item has its own autonomy, and it will always choose to do the thing that's like a little bit mischievous. I do think the like Mickey Minnie relationship is at the core of the plot of the thing, and I don't even know if it needs to be more complicated than just like you're sailing around, you're having a good time, you're playing music together, and then she loses her ukulele, and it's actually kind of sad, and it like takes it from being a more lighthearted thing. And then maybe you're building her a new. What do they do at the end of this thing? You peel potatoes. I'm not sure if we're following the plot of the short.
I was wondering, is this taking place after the short, or is this?
I think it's just loosely based on the short. Yeah. It's the same characters. It's taking what we like from the short. I don't think... What's the guy's name? Pete? The cat?
I was wondering if Pete shows up.
I think Pete can be a character, but it's not like Pete is the villain of this game. And yeah.
I do think there should be a designated raspberry blow button.
I totally agree.
When you don't have an object to interact with and play as an instrument, you just blow a raspberry.
That's really good. I haven't played enough Paper Mario. That is my real, like, I do think it should feel like a Paper Mario game. That's my main inspiration for this thing. I've only played the Origami King. I just have like seen a lot of footage from the others, and I know that they're so widely beloved, and so much of that is about the thing of like every new area is completely novel, so it's like it's like feels like an RPG, but something I really like about older RPGs, like old school RPGs, is just that there's still new stuff being introduced throughout the entire game, whereas a lot of more, this is not like a dig at modern games, but more modern games often follow more of a rule of here are your mechanics, like here's what you can do in this world, you're going to get more powerful at these things, and more stuff is going to open up, you're going to encounter new types of enemies and stuff like that, but for the most part the core mechanics of the game will stay the same throughout, because games are just supposed to be kind of endless content and like super replayable and allow for like DLC being added, like a lot of DLC being added, and it keeps staying fresh. And I like about old school RPGs, like something like Final Fantasy VII, Paper Mario RPG, and Undertale, I think does the same thing, that it's like there is no like rule you can memorize and then just keep kind of mashing that throughout the entire game.
Totally. I feel like with the musical stuff, you could also take inspiration from Ocarina of Time and have like different songs do different powers, which could be something that you're getting over the course of the game.
I like that. I'm trying to think. Does that? You haven't seen the full short. Does that happen at all, or is that just kind of like a fun?
That's just video games.
That's just video games. I mean, I would compare it more to like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, because it's already a sailing game, and in that game you do the same thing where different things you direct can do different stuff, like teleport you, change the course, change the direction of the wind.
That is what Ocarina of Time is.
It's a but it's not a sailing game.
It's not a sailing game, but Wind Waker is just Ocarina of Time.
Oh no, no. I know that. I'm just saying like that's my immediate thought.
Yeah,
I'm not saying not Ocarina of Time. I'm just saying like further in the direction of it helps you with sailing.
Totally.
That's all I'm saying.
Totally.
So like changing the direction of the wind, like maybe like tracking stuff. So like maybe the thing we take from this actually is like beginning of the game, you're learning the mechanics, you're going through, then this goat eats the ukulele, and then you're on a mission to go around and build a new ukulele. And that's where it's a totally different thing from the original short. It is a independent project, and we're just using these characters that belong to us.
We made them, actually.
Yeah, we
is
own.
That part of
it's our
open
official.
domain?
It's our official stance. I don't think so. It's our official stance that we own the Disney Corporation now, because we invented Mickey Mouse,
and that you can sue us because of it.
That is not part of our official stance. We take that and make the rest of the game trying to build a new ukulele and like looking for the different parts of it, kind of like how in Mario Odyssey Bowser's going around to different kingdoms getting different stuff for the wedding, which I think is such a great like premise for that particular game. It works so well.
Yeah.
That could be the kind of like traveling between areas motivation. Is like you're gonna want strings from this place. She's like, oh yeah, Minnie's like my grandmother made me this ukulele. It was so important to me. And Mickey's like, I'm not just gonna buy you a new one. I'm not just gonna make you a new one. I'm gonna find exactly how she made this thing. Because of globalization.
I think at first Mickey should be like, why do you need an instrument? You just blow on the tree and it makes the bassoon sound.
Wait. So if Minnie's grandmother is an established Disney character, I'm looking to our producer. If Minnie's grandmother was an established character, can we invent a new character who's Minnie's grandmother, or does she have to be an adoptive grandmother or a different figure?
I have no idea.
Okay, we'll make a new one.
Oh, don't worry, Minnie. We'll get you a new grandma.
She gets a new grandma. Okay, her grandmother was a traveler and like went to all these places, and that's just this nice thing about her. And also, she made her this ukulele, and so Mickey sees how much she's hurting because this goat has eaten her ukulele, and is like finds, and then oh my god. Part of the game is going and finding her grandmother's journals to see where she got these parts. And then when you get the journals, you know where to go next.
Totally. There could be something too, because in the short, the goat eats the sheet music and then they use the goat like a gramophone. And sorry. Go ahead. And I feel like there could be something where you're hearing little patches of things by playing the goat like a gramophone.
Oh, that's actually so brilliant.
Or like you're feeding it, I don't know, it could even be you're feeding it the journal entries and then hearing the grandmother.
Because Mickey can't read.
Exactly. But the goat's stomach can read.
That is so nuts. I mean, like, that is so much better than the more obvious direction. I'm not sure if it's better, but the more obvious direction to go is just like, the goat also ate some sheet music. You're also going to find sheet music.
Right.
And replace that. And then that can let you like play more stuff. I do like that thing though. And I also like the idea that it's like art and things don't have to be permanent. Like the Marie Kondo, like you can be grateful to something and still get rid of it, and it's this new ukulele will still be special, and that old ukulele was still special.
Even though it's in the goat's
Even though it's in the goat's tummy now. And you could do the same thing with sheet music of like, look, this art was made to be enjoyed, and there's no greater way to enjoy music than through the mouth of a goat that you're using as a gramophone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not anything.
I think it's something.
I kind of like the idea. I think it would be funny if it's just like, yeah, Mickey can't read, so when you find a journal entry, you have to feed it to the goat. You could also find a goofy, because it's like physics don't work in this world. You could find a goofy making a copy of it and then feeding it to the goat, and feeding the copy to the goat, something like that. Because I do feel a little bad finding this old woman's journal entries and feeding them to an animal. Weird.
That is
But I do think the goat is on the ship with you, and like the gameplay where you're sailing around. You could also do a thing of like, like, Minnie, do you want to sail? Fast traveling could be, Minnie, do you want to sail for a while?
Right.
And she takes over, and then you can explore the ship while she's sailing, and then you can like go to your bed, and when you get up, you fast traveled there.
Totally.
Okay. I'm thinking of doing a minigame minute if you'd want to.
Sure. I feel like I picture so much of this game being mini games because of
agree.
You walk up to something, you interact with it, and suddenly you're thrown into this super goofy thing.
I totally agree. Part of the nature of this thing I'm saying of it's constantly novel. There's never a consistent rhythm to the game. Is just like the new stuff you see will feel like new mini games.
Right.
I do think we can still have like some things that are explicitly mini games though.
Right.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
You can play ping pong by squashing a tree down real flat and grabbing 2 other trees and going like that with it.
You are going so much more creative than I am. There are roller coasters.
That's really good. You can you can fish by pulling a mouse hole, and you just keep pulling, and then it becomes a fishing rod, and you go like that, and then the mouse comes up and crawls on the pole until it becomes the bait, and then a huge fish comes.
Okay, you can play pool with the goat below decks.
Okay, picture this. Picture this. You're on a beach. And a goat. You walk over to a goat.
Thanks.
Actually, let's make it a dog. You walk over to a dog. You grab its tail. You blow into its tail. The dog begins to go expand and become a ball. You get your arms huge for a second and squish it down till it's just the right size for a volleyball, and then you play volleyball. But first, you have to build a sandcastle for the net, but you punch a bunch of holes to make all the little middle parts of the net. And whenever you hit the net, the whole thing shatters to the ground because it's sand. And you're playing against a sand guy.
Wow. You were really born for this. This is, just hearing how many ideas you have for this makes me feel like we should make this game. Just because literally my ideas were so uninspired. I was just doing roller coasters, for the record. It's because of Disneyland. Except for legal reasons, it's not. But that's
because of Steamboat Willie.
It's because of Steamboat Willie Land, the land that we're making.
I'm really excited about that endeavor. I feel like we're going to make a lot of money from it.
Yeah. I did like the idea, though, of like if Minnie's steering the ship, you can go down and play with play games with the goat.
Totally.
I think that if you're going forward, you're playing as Mickey. His name is Mickey in the short, right?
I was wondering this. I think so.
I hope so. I mean, imagine if we legitimately got sued. That would be crazy.
For real.
Okay, I think
dude, that would be nuts.
For the record,
we lost our fortune.
For the record, we're good. Ruth says his name is Mickey. Okay, for the record, It is the things we've been saying about owning the Disney Corporation and all that stuff is a
real.
joke. For the record, we don't mean any of this.
We're just two people from Massachusetts.
We're truly just two people from Massachusetts.
We don't own Disney.
We live in Massachusetts.
We literally... I actually don't live in Massachusetts. Kind of. I kind of live in Massachusetts. I mostly live in Well, I don't mostly live in Massachusetts. I part-time live in Massachusetts.
I see. Well, the important thing
I was born and bred here, though.
Okay. Point is, we don't own the Disney Corporation, and we're not going to make a place called Steamboat Willie Land.
That one's still up in the air.
That one's still up in the air. We're almost to time here. I do think if we're going, if you're going somewhere new as Mickey, you have to go there yourself. But if you're backtracking, and I do think you should be rewarded in various ways for backtracking, you can ask Minnie to steer the ship, and then it's kind of a fun thing of you're actually rewarded for backtracking. You realize, oh, I'm supposed to do this because there's stuff I can only do on the ship if it's in motion, if Minnie's steering it, and and you go and if you go on the ship when it's docked, there are fewer activities. But
and when Minnie's steering it, you can still walk around to the different parts. It's almost like the game Spiritfarer, which has a kind of similar system. That game, it's all there's no steering, but in that game, you have a map, and then it's like a 2D game, but you have a map, and then you can pick where you go, and then the boat is just traveling there for
that's awesome.
An amount of time that it would take to get there, and then you're walking around the deck of the ship and things while that's happening, which is so good.
That's so good. That's a game I own. That's another game I own and have not played. This has been the premiere of Game Jelly Season 2.5, Echoes of the Forgotten Island. And thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the first time we've been able to say that. Yeah, that's true. We probably have said that by accident. We must have said that.
It's so drilled into our bones.
Yeah, exactly. Because we love YouTube. Good night, everyone.
We love you, YouTube.